And welcome back, and we're talking sports tonight. There is big news for Delaware soccer fans tonight. Tom Byrne explains in First State Sports. Tom, this is really good news for soccer fans.
Yeah, it sure is, Rob. Delaware has a soccer franchise to call its own again. Delaware Dynasty ready to launch in 2006, bringing high-level soccer to the First State for the first time since Delaware Wizards folded over 5 years ago. Joining us tonight to talk about the Dynasty is the team's new head coach. That would be Fran Kulas. Thanks very much for stopping by tonight.
Thanks
Braving the weather to come on in. What makes this the right time to try this again? Because when the Wizards wrapped up, things had kind of fallen off for them. Why now bring it back, and why do you think it'll work this time?
Well, I think it's long overdue. Just about 6 years where there hasn't been a high level of soccer here, and I think it's really important for our younger players at the youth level to have something to aspire to, something that's local, something that they can see firsthand, reach out and touch, and become a part of it.
And this is a little bit more youth-oriented situation. The Wizards were a purely professional team. Your team is going to be a developmental league team, a premier developmental league team in the USL. Explain to people what that means in terms of the type of players you guys are going to have, and I guess what the dynamic of the league is.
Well, our roster is a 26-player roster, and that roster, on that roster you can have 8 players over the age of 23, but you must have at least 3 players age 19 or below. So we will have a wide range in terms of age of players. And the big difference here is it's an amateur type of a team or semi-professional type of team where the players are not paid to play, and there's a real hunger for our players. We have a lot of kids. Players from Delaware that are out playing at different colleges and universities, and they come home every summer and they need a place to play. And as they get older, the club teams sort of fizzle out, and so they do need a place to play, and we think we're creating a great environment for that.
And I guess this is a situation where you're going to see more elite college players. Perhaps that is the main target for you as you build this team.
Well, sure. We've been contacted by a lot of college coaches out there looking to play some of their players, but we also have quite a few good players here in Delaware that are up-and-coming older high school seniors and so forth, and so we like to have that carrot out there, and it's something real that our players can participate in. And we will be attracting players from out of state, but we also want this to be an opportunity for our Delaware players.
Now, your nuts and bolts of putting this team together involves some open tryouts.
They do. There are 5 open tryouts, 2 in January, 1 in February, 1 in March, and 1 in April. Archmere Academy is our official training facility for the Delaware Dynasty, and those tryouts dates are on our website at www.delawaredynasty.com, and they're open to anyone. There is a process that is on our website, but we encourage players to come out and give a shot.
What do you look for in these trials as a coach? When these guys come out there, what are you looking for that would make them stand out?
Well, that's an interesting comment there. We're looking for players who stand out in one way or more in terms of certain aspects of their game. We're looking for standout players. We're looking for players who understand the game and understand the different situations that occur in the game at different times based on score, where they are in the field and so forth. But we're looking for players who are versatile, people that have a background in the game. But most importantly, we're looking for players who are going to view this experience with the Dynasty as a privilege.
For you guys as a franchise, you worked with the Delaware Wizards before they wrapped up. What is, I guess, the biggest difference, I guess, in looking at what you guys are doing and, I guess, the philosophy the ownership brings to this particular endeavor that maybe wasn't there when the Wizards were finishing up?
Well, I think the most important thing is the support you get from the community. A lot of that's going to fall on my shoulders with getting a quality product onto the field, but with what our management is doing in terms of making it a fun family environment at our games. It's not just a soccer game, it is actually an event. So I think with any organization similar to the Dynasty, it takes the community to sort of wrap their arms around it, embrace it, and take part in it. And I think Delaware is perfect for that type of for this type of franchise, and we hope and we believe that people will get involved and sort of call the Dynasty their own.
And I know that management's already kind of made a commitment to the community service part of it, particularly in terms of youth-oriented, kid-oriented type of programs, including ones about kids' health. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're involved with several programs, particularly one that we're really interested in is the 5-2-1 and almost none, where we look at certain nutrition and eating per day, and cutting out television and video games for kids, and making sure they have at least 1 hour of physical activity. And these are things that sort of wrap it all into one, are things that we'd like to promote and that we'll be going out into the community and promoting throughout the year.
Going back to the field, I know you guys don't have a schedule and you haven't announced your home site yet, but talk a little bit about the league itself and what type of teams and what type of cities you guys will be competing against in terms of your particular division.
Well, in our division, it's kind of an interesting division. We do have a team from Ottawa, ironically, but the other teams are fairly close by. There's a Rhode Island team, a Vermont team, New Jersey team, a couple of teams in Virginia, and so a lot of these teams have been around for a while, and they've been quite successful. In fact, some of them have downgraded from a pro team to a PDL team. It's interesting. We'll have our work cut out for us, but that we'll be competing in are similar to ours, family environments that have a lot of support from their community, and we're really looking forward to that.
And I'll be hearing from you a little bit more in January when you have a stadium situation set up and we start hearing more about the schedule. Until then, Fran Kulas, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
We will talk to them a little bit more as the year moves on and they get closer to season number 1 of the Delaware Dynasty. Next.